Hello and welcome. I'm Nathalie and thank you for being in this space on my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button as I will be releasing one video a week, often 20-minute free flows for you to enjoy. And part of my passion is to really take a look at different aspects of the yoga practice and what it brings out in us on many, many levels. So one of the first videos I really wanted to start with is to understand a little bit more about what a Hatha class is versus a Vinyasa class and a power class so that you know what type of practice you need when you show up to your mat. In the world of yoga, Hatha is pretty much the basis or the foundation for most other styles. And yet I think it's been really overlooked in the last decade, 2 decades of popular yoga coming out. Now, one of the things that I find so beautiful about the Hatha practice is this dance and a rebalancing of not only your nervous system, because your inhale and your exhale is equal, but you exploring within your own being in the way that you interact with the postures. Where are you over-efforting and where are you maybe losing energy or something is feeling weak and taking you out of a balanced amount of effort and ease. So if you break down the word Hatha, and we'll cover this really quickly, it embodies the sun and the moon energy of our beings, right? And the sun is associated, you can loosely look at how does sun make you feel in the middle of the day when it's lots of light outside versus how does it feel when it's completely dark and most of us are in a rest and repair mode. So when we have very different energies and, you know, in Chinese medicine, you can map where your energy is strongest from morning to midday to afternoon to evening. Where are you on that spectrum of do you need to release energy at the end of the day? Do you need to build energy for the beginning of the day? And every single time you touch down on the mat, you're going to obviously be coming towards your practice with a new experience and a new kind of system and opportunity to balance exactly where you're at. So Hatha is a really beautiful reflection of what's happening within you internally. And I'm going to be bringing in 3 focuses today because I chose to make this video about grounding. And I think we can all relate to there is so much stimulation in the outside world at times that can feel very chaotic, that it's important for us to know and recognize when we are feeling out of balance or out of sync with our physical being and also with being able to just slow down and be with the breath. So the 3 things are going to be looking at the complete breath, a fully relaxed belly breath. We're going to be doing a lot of leg and hip opening postures. And that's simply just because the first and the second chakra have a lot to do with stability, survival, trust, and connecting to earth energy. And as soon as we find ourselves kind of lost in any kind of upward momentum of overthinking or too much stimulation, one of the most powerful ways to move us out of that kind of chaos is to drop into the body and the breath. And the most effective way on the mat is to really find power and strength and presence in your legs, your feet, and your hips. So we're going to be doing a lot of low to the ground postures today. And the third one that I really personally love when I'm feeling maybe a little discombobulated is inversions. So anytime you lower your head to the earth or your head below your heart, you're releasing the need to be focused on the outer world and you're taking your attention back in to your breath, your body, and what's happening for you on the inside. So follow along, do the best you can. The only disclaimer I want to add to this video is that make sure you do not get lost in trying to look like me. Please practice at a place that is honoring where you're at and what your body is needing today. Okay, let's see where we go. All right, so the first thing I want to break down is what a low lunge looks like and how to access it in a Hatha-esque style. So you're going to come onto your hands and your knees on the back of your mat, tucking your toes. Now, obviously, if you do have injuries, I want you to be really supporting yourself as much as you can. Lean forward off of your joints or stick something underneath your seat to remove the pressure from the knees. So as you're coming here, I want to just interlace the hands, press the arms forward, take a big breath in. Exhale, round your spine. Good, as you inhale, reach the arms up, lift your gaze slightly. And exhale, scoop your navel back and watch that the knees and the thighs are still hugging in. So do that 2 more times as you inhale. Lift your heart forward and up. Just get a little action in the spine. Exhale. Opening the hands, preparing to set them on the earth. 1 more time. Inhale, rise. Softening your face. There's no need to push, especially when you start. Exhale, round. Good. Opening your arms wide. I want you to come onto your knees. Let your tailbone lead and really come to stand up, tucking your tailbone forward so you feel the sides of your belly engaged. Then you're going to take a big breath in across your wingspan, across your arms. And then as you exhale, you're going to sit back and walk your hands forward. So this is similar to a child's pose, but my fingertips are on the mat instead of the palms. Good. Now round your way forward. Keep your right foot where it is and step your left foot. Now you can see that maybe I'm going to help my foot step a little further. My back toes and knee don't move though. That's the stability. I'm going to relax my belly on the inside of my left thigh. I'm going to take a nice full breath in. A long breath out. And I'm going to be hugging my hips slightly to the right. As I exhale, I'm going to sink deeper into that front foot. I might even start to move my shoulders back. And if you do need more height, you can slide something, blocks or other objects underneath your hands. It's nice to look down at your front foot and really spread your toes wide. And then imagine a little bit of a curl in the toes, like you're trying to pick up grass under your foot. Take 2 more breaths here. I might weave my shoulders even further down my back and really let a widening come through the front of my chest. And I'm watching my jaw, my face. Even as I feel the hips lengthen, a bit of a effort there. I'm not gripping or grimacing through my face. Last breath. Good, awesome. We're gonna set the hands flat, spreading the fingers as they go. Now, if you can't do that safely, it feels too far down, tense your fingertips and then lift your back knee. Now I'm hugging my left hip back, so already you can feel the effort here. I'm not dropping too far down with my hips. I'm lifting up and pressing my heart forward, and I'm going to take 4 breaths. And again, I'm hugging my hips to the right and pulling my back heel forward, and I'm trying not to round my back. So if that means bumping up higher, then do so. Good, 2 more breaths. Press your shoulders down your back. You can feel how the legs are having to work now. And if you want a shorter stance, a little less intensity, then do so. Jump your back foot in a little bit, and you can come up onto fingertips, right? Finding what works for you. Take 1 more breath here. Good, drop your back knee. You're gonna come onto your fingers and slide your hips back. Now, all of us are built differently, so maybe this long, straight leg doesn't work for you and you keep your knee bent quite a lot, activating your toes so you can feel them spreading. And you're gonna look forward on a big breath in, and you're gonna exhale, fold in. Now, don't go further than you're ready to go. As you wave your spine halfway up, you're gonna walk yourself over to the right, shift on your right knee, and lower your seat down. So my left leg is still exactly where it was, in line with the left hip, and my right foot is now on the inside of my left thigh. I'm gonna turn over my right shoulder. My right hand is behind me, my left hand is inside my left thigh. I'm gonna use my fingers like tent pegs to lift my spine and turn even further over my right shoulder. Okay, I'm gonna take a big breath in. Exhale, twist. Good, 2 more here. If you want a little bit more action, you can take your right hand around inside that left thigh. Make sure that you're not rolling out on your left hip. You're still lifting up through the spinal column by pressing that left leg down. Good, last breath. I'm gonna release my right hand so the fingers come back to the floor and walk my left fingers forward. Now, again, some height underneath your left arm, or just lower the elbow to the floor as you lift your right arm straight up and let your head fall towards the floor. Now, you're gonna have to feel out how far forward that left hand moves. And just let this kind of yielding quality move through the right side of the body. As you pull your toes back, you can even grab the outer foot. This hand, though, is right above your shoulder. Try not to go too far. Actively open the fingers and pull the shoulder blade to the middle of the back. Let's relax the belly here. Feeling the breath move both sides of your nose. You can even imagine pulling the head of the left femur back into the socket so the leg is pulling back towards you. Letting your head maybe drop a little further down. 2 more big breaths. Good, last one. Opening up your top shoulder a little, making sure it's not too much of a stretch here. And then taking your right arm forward, letting your torso roll towards the floor, and then using your fingers to roll your way back up. Now, I'm gonna take both hands underneath my left knee, guide my foot towards me, and roll that foot carefully into the mat. Doing this as slowly as you need to. Both hands are on the inside of my left leg. I'm gonna use my fingertips, and I'm gonna come into standing split. So I'm letting that right leg go all the way up. Now, as far as you need to move the hands to get a little bit more balance, you do that. And then as you inhale, lift and look forward. And then exhale, just let your spine drop. One thing I want you to push your fingers down and pull your shoulders up your back. So breathing here for 4. Feel free if you want more of a challenge to square your pelvis or to just go for length. This bottom standing leg can be bent slightly. And if you're getting a bit dizzy, try looking forward and taking the pressure off the front of the forehead. Activate that top foot. Just feel that yielding down the spine. Good, take 1 more breath here. Lift and look forward halfway. And gently set your right foot onto the mat in line with your left foot. You're going to heel toe your feet to the edges of your mat. Turn your toes out to about 10 and 2 o'clock. And then just carefully sink down into a squat. So watching the knees here, when you let yourself sink down, it's very common to let the knees buckle in. You want the knees facing the second biggest toe. And if you feel like you're really not that open in your pelvis, grab something to just sit yourself on so that you can have this nice tall spine. You're going to be here, focus straight ahead on the horizon, and breathe for 5 breaths. Feel the center of your heel really rooting downwards and the crown of your head lifting up and out of your waist. And if you're coming to your mat with particularly kind of frantic energy, then I suggest when we do pause to make your exhale a tiny bit longer than your inhale. Let's take 1 more full belly breath. Exhale it out your mouth. Good, dropping your fingertips down to the floor. Now as you straighten your legs, push your shoulders back and really root the center of the heels. Lift your gaze and look forward as best you can. Turn your feet forward and then exhale, fold and down. So you can do a couple of things. You can walk your hands forward here, shift your weight over to your right foot, so you're really pouring the weight down the back of the right leg. Take a nice long breath. Good, and then using your fingertips, try to land the hip itself, the socket, right above the left heel and pour weight down the left leg. Good, and then coming back through center, move anything that you need off to the side. And you're going to step quietly into downward facing dog. And I'm going to suggest here that you take your feet together at the back of the mat and bend your right knee so you're really feeling this down the left leg. From the finger pads on both hands, you're really pushing the hips back and then slowly sinking that right heel and bending your left knee. And you slowly begin to draw the chest
through, but keep the shoulders wrapping to the floor. So you feel a broad upper back, a relaxed throat, relaxed forehead. One more breath here. Good, and then lift onto your tiptoes. You can roll over the top of your feet, drop your knees wide, and just let your hips sink back into your heels. A couple of suggestions. You can turn your head to the right for 3 breaths. And as you do that, you can gently shift your pelvis over to the right as well, and you'll feel just a bit more sensation in that right hip. Really tune in like you're listening to the earth, to underneath your mat. Sometimes you might even feel connected to a hum or a noise underneath the sounds around you. Good, and then roll yourself slowly back to the middle of the forehead and shift over to the left temple as your hips sway slightly to the left. Fully release any tension or holding in your belly. So often we've been taught to kind of suck the stomach in, and what that often does is shorten the breath and deprive you of that fully relaxed sensation in your breathing. Last exhale here. Good, rolling your head to center. You're going to slide your hands right underneath your shoulders. Take your time tucking your tailbone and slowly peel your way up. Drawing your knees together, you can shift your weight forward and tuck your toes. And again, if you need some support underneath your seat, use some height so you're not agitating the knees. Switch the crossing of your fingers. So really actively look at your hands. Where do you tend to create habits you're not even aware of? Press the palms forward on the in-breath. Plug the shoulders back as you exhale, round. Inhale, hug the thighs in as you lift your heart. You might find you're able to go a little further, and then exhale, end up with the hands out in front of your heart space. Do that 3 more times, so nice and slow. Inhale. Feeling it out, right? There's no end goal. Exhale. How far does your body want to move versus how far are you trying to make it move? Inhale. Exhale. What's the right amount of movement to continue to keep your breath nice and full? Last one. To keep that sense of balance in your body as you move. Good. Opening your arms up. Come slowly onto your knees. Keeping your toes tucked. Big breath in. Reach across your wingspan with your breath. Exhale, drop your shoulders down. Big inhale, reach up. And exhale, lean your hips back as you cast your hands forward, right onto those fingertips. And then round your way forward. This time our right leg is stepping. And again, feel free to hook the back of the heel. And without moving that back foot, sink your hips forward. Now right away, I'm gonna nudge my belly on the inside of my right thigh. And you can adjust yourself if something doesn't feel right until you can settle in. Shoulders back as you inhale. And exhale to relax the belly. And sink into that front foot. A nice full breath in. And out. Another option here, if you feel like that's too much pressure on that front hip, is to come a little higher so that you're compressing that front hip a little bit less acutely. And also this allows your back hip to open even deeper. So there's still benefits to shifting the variation, and there's no rules, right? So your guidance is your own body's feedback. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Continuing to pull the shoulders away from rounding your heart space. So there's a nice long flow of breath down through your throat, your chest, across your chest, into the belly. Good, 1 more breath here. Let's exhale it out the mouth. Good. Using your hands to carefully shift your pelvis back, and you're going to peel your toes off the floor until you find just the right amount of length in the back of the right leg. Take a nice inhale. You might not fold very far, but keep that right hip pulling back as you fold gently on the inside of the right foot. You can swivel your hip side to side, kind of feeling out the back body, and then inhale, lift your chest. And you're going to roll your right foot back into the floor, and this time taking hands flat to lift the back knee, or using your blocks if that's easier for you. So not as long here, but we're going to take 4 breaths to inhale. Exhale. And again, notice where you're dumping. Try and lift your hips out of a comfort zone. Pull your right hip back. Pull your back heel forward. 2 more breaths. Soften the face. Try and take your gaze from looking down to forward. Good. 1 more big breath here. Exhale out your mouth. Drop your back knee gently. Now, with care, in case you do have any knee issues, you're going to turn your left shin across the mat and weave your hips back so you're sitting just behind that left heel. Now I'm going to take that left foot on the inside of my right thigh. My right leg is pointing straight up, my knee and my toes are pointing up, and then I just turn to spin over the left shoulder. Wrap the shoulders down, lift the heart, draw the chin in to lengthen the back of the neck, and try closing the eyes here. Nice relaxed belly on the inhale, sit tall. And the exhale, draw the navel in. Guide the shoulders down. Full breath in. Full breath out. 1 more. Notice if you feel any gripping in your core or a hard time relaxing your belly fully. As you turn, keep the height in your spine towards the front edge of the mat. You're going to take your right hand and just walk it forward. Your elbow doesn't need to be down. You might just set the hand and then reach the left arm up. Do your best to line that top arm with the shoulder, and then allow your head to release and the neck to open and lengthen. If you need to bend that right leg more, do so. And just feel it out where the right place for you to be is. If your neck prefers one orientation, looking up would be the hardest. Forward is pretty safe. Down might allow for a deeper release. Just find your breath here. And keep doing your best to roll slightly into the pelvis. Roll forward on that right hip, but open the top shoulder back. Relaxing the belly, breathe in. And just feel the floor underneath you. Feel your exhale relax some part of you deeper into the floor. Right? It's like laying in bed. You can feel your body drop through levels of release. Okay, let's take 1 more breath here. And let it out completely. Just letting it go. Inhale to open that top arm just a tiny bit further, and then allow the left hand to come across the body, and for your hands to just walk you up slowly, being mindful of that pretty deep opening in the left side of the waist. You're going to scoop your hand behind your right knee, and with a lot of intention, right? So Hatha is very, very about being able to stay conscious of each movement. Your hands are wide. You're going to lean into that right foot, unfold the left leg, and touch the sky with your left big toe. So now you're just letting gravity take over through the spine. Shoulders move up your back, and be here for 3 breaths. Release your face completely. Bend your standing leg as much as needed. Good. Take 1 more full inhale. And full emptying exhale. Bend that top leg. Gently step your left foot down. And again, walking your feet as wide as your mat. You're going to turn your toes out and sink your hips down. A little different today. You're going to walk your hands forward and drop your head in. So again, this inversion, if it feels more supportive to you to draw something underneath your seat, then do so. Making sure again that the knees aren't falling in or out. And just relax your head down. Wrap your shoulders wide across your upper back and release the back of your throat. Let's take 4 breaths here. Good. Rooting your heels down, lift to lengthen out of your waist. Draw your hands up. And if you are sitting on something, just remain. Take your knees together. We're just going to close that flow with some simple belly breathing. You're going to take your hands, create a diamond from your thumb to your index finger. Relax your shoulders down. Take a nice full breath into your hands. And exhale out your mouth. Inhale into your hands. Exhale out your nose. Inhale into your hands. Sigh out your mouth. Keep breathing with your lips together. Feeling the rise and the fall of your belly. Feeling that perfect length between your inhale. Feeling the relief of the exhale. And the softening underneath it. Let's take 3 more. Take your hands together in the middle of your chest, palms in prayer. Take a nice deep breath in. Let it out your mouth. Bow your forehead to your thumbs. Honor your presence on the mat. Honor your efforts. Then choose to either sit for a few moments with your palms face up, or to make your way slowly onto your back and lay yourself out in full Shavasana. I suggest 2 to 5 minutes if you have the time. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in my next video. Namaste.